Brody Miller's with us every Wednesday. He's also the co-host of Hold That Podcast over The Athletic. Brody, if you had one selection, if you had one choice for somebody to narrate your life, who would it be?
Whoa. Shoot, that was unexpected.
Yeah, answer the question, Brody.
Oh, man, I think my answer is Brad Pitt.
Oh, wow.
That's not bad. It's not bad.
I think Nick Nolte just popped up into my head. I think I would like Nick Nolte a lot.
Nick Nolte would be pretty good.
He's got that it sounds like Nick Nolte's throat has been through hell, but it somehow sounds really good. It's like how mine sounded when I was coughing.
Yeah.
All right, Brody, let's talk some football, though. We talked a lot of it on yesterday's Hold That Podcast. You have a couple great articles up in The Athletic right now.
Coach O would be a great narrator.
Yeah, that might if I get a little old by the end. Yeah, for sure. Brody, is there an aspect to this game that you think is being maybe under discussed so that the general public isn't acknowledging as much?
Well, I think the main topic of this game, which rightfully so, is Venables versus the LSU offense. That's getting all the discussion and whatnot, and how do they contain Joe Burrow. But I just think there's something to the idea that LSU hasn't really played hardly any truly. That's not like LSU hasn't played nobody thing, but they really haven't played many truly balanced offenses like Clemson's. I think Alabama's really the only true one that comes to mind. That's not a criticism, but that is going to be a fascinating thing because as we talked about yesterday, I think Dave Aranda's done a good job of, putting teams and, making them play left-handed a bit, making them play how they don't want to play. For example, try to make Jalen Hurts beat you with the pass, try to put Bo Nix in the third down situations, things like that. They're really good at that. Yeah. I don't think there's a clear, all right, you take this away, you stop Clemson. If you try to stop the passing game and those receivers and Lawrence, well, Travis Etienne is as good as most running backs in the country, and they have a great O-line. So I think that's the area that I'm just really fascinated of. How does Dave Aranda come out and just how do you try to stop them? Do you try to play balanced defense? I'm curious.
What do you see from a specialist department or special teams department? Is there a difference? There's an advantage one side?
Well, I think LSU was actually dramatically higher rated in all the special teams categories. LSU's, they've dropped a little bit compared to last year, but they're still a top 10 special teams unit across the board. While, you have a Clemson special teams that is 123rd in punt return efficiency, 77th in kick return efficiency. They are 110th in field goals.
Damn.
Which I know that's surprising. They are 12 of 20 on field goals this season, and not many of them are long. So, I think LSU does have the special teams edge here, which I could see being important because I have this weird feeling in this game that it's going to be kind of not like the Auburn game, but similar in the sense that I think you're going to see both offenses move the ball a lot, but I have a gut feeling that with such good defensive coordinators, you're going to see a lot of clutch stops near the, in the red zone and whatnot. So I feel like it's going to be a high offense game, but a low scoring game, if that makes sense. And I think you're going to see some stops. So special teams could be more important than we realize.
Talking to Brody Miller of The Athletic. Listen to us in the Hold That Podcast. That's on iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. And also follow his work in The Athletic. It is some top-notch work. Brody, you have an article about the importance of character right now where you got to sit down with Jack Marucci, who's kind of developed a character grading system, and he seems to find a correlating factor between high-character teams and between winning. I guess in making this article, what kind of stood out to you? What do you think the most interesting part of what Marucci is working towards is?
Well, I just think this whole topic of quantifying the unquantifiable is a fascinating thing we're seeing in the world in general this past decade. I mean, you're seeing NBA teams kind of they talk at the Sloan MIT conference a lot, and it's been like a mission to try to quantify chemistry on a basketball court, for example, and they're getting closer and things like that. And what Jack Marucci's doing isn't overly complicated. It's 4 pretty simple metrics, and 2 of them are subjective, and it's not a perfect science. But 20 years of data on this, I mean, at that point, it's a big enough sample size that it's a pretty, it's pretty clear at this point that there is a clear correlation between the character of a football team and wins. And it seems so simple. It seems sometimes that it seems obvious, but also eye-roll worthy, right? It's in this weird in-between zone there. And I think when I first heard it, I'm like, okay, we'll see. But it's kind of uncanny when you look at the classes of and Jack Richard didn't want to get into specifics, but I mean, I can tell you, I know that some of the classes that were some of the lowest rated in the history of his 20 years in this matrix, they're the ones that lost those upset games they shouldn't have lost. Those are the ones that had the disappointing 8-4, 9-3 seasons. And now you have a team like this team that's undefeated. Well, the 2017 class, which are the juniors and leaders of this team, that's one of the highest rated classes in these 20 years. And it's a team of, it's a class that won like 18 of the 24 players genuinely contribute. But on top of that, I'd say like 8 or 9 of those guys are like sincere leaders but they're not like the rah leader. They actually just lead by what they're supposed to do. And that's a long way of saying I've just been blown away by how real this all seems.
Brody, real quick, what do you think, man? If you had to offer a prediction, which whatever, a prediction for Monday night.
Yeah, I think I'm at a point now where I think that it's overall a relatively even football game. I think LSU's offense is better than Clemson's offense, but I think Clemson's defense is better than LSU's defense, and it kind of evens out. But when I just come down to it at the end of the day, I just think Joe Burrow is at a level right now where no matter what you throw at him, he's seen everything this football season. He just is at a level where he can overcome anything right now, and he can just play at a winning level in these kind of contexts. So I'm at a point where I think Joe Burrow is just the tiebreaker there, and I think LSU wins this one by 7 or 10 points. I really do.
We'll see you in New Orleans, Brody. Thank you for the content, man.
Thank you for having me, guys. Take care.
Yeah, there he is, Brody Miller from The Athletic. We'll close it out next.